Good day, everybody. Today I'm cooking some butternut squash that I got yesterday. Um, some ground meat, a few other things. The first thing we need to do is peel the squash. So I'm going to go ahead and try to cut it in half first. Of course, we got to get the seeds out and everything. So this is a pretty small one. And I'm going to just use my knife to kind of just, peel it as thin as you can, just to get the peelings off. So let me get that done. And since I was cooking with butternut squash today, I had to do a little search on the internet, see when it was developed and everything. Apparently it was developed in 1944 by a guy by the name of Charles Leggett of Stowe, Massachusetts. And he created it by crossing pumpkin with the gooseneck squash varieties. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And you can use a spoon to kind of scoop out the seeds and everything, and the pulp from the middle of it. They should mostly all come out. Just kind of scrape it out. And for the squash, we're just going to kind of cube it kind of small. So you can cut them in half like such. I cut them in half again. And then for the actual cubes, I'm thinking about that size. So let me get all those done. I'm also dice up my celery. This is about one stalk. And I'm going to just kind of dice it up around like that. As far as the onion, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing with it. Put it in slices. And I'm going to dice it about like this. So let me get all that done. Then I'll show you the next step. And I got everything chopped up. Got my 1 cup of the squash cut up in little cubes. I got a 1/4 of a cup of diced bell pepper. Pretty large dice. My celery diced and my onion diced. So let me show you the next step. So the first thing I like to do is brown the ground meat first. So we'll put a little bit oil in there. I'm using some avocado oil, and we'll let that get up to temperature. And once you get your oil hot, go ahead and put your ground meat in, and we're going to just cook this until it's nice and brown. I'd say about between 5 and 10 minutes. Alright, this has been about 5 minutes, and release a lot of the oil out of the meat. So I'm going to go ahead and drain it in the colander, and I'm going to leave it a little bit in the bottom of the pot for the next step. Alright, went ahead and left in a little bit of the oil, and this is all my vegetables going in. As well as 1 teaspoon of minced garlic. And I'm keeping my fire on about a medium flame, maybe a little bit less. Alright, it's been about 2.5 minutes. Go ahead and add our beef back to it. And go ahead and get everything incorporated really well. We'll go ahead and add our squash to it. 1 cup. Now we'll do a little seasoning. I'm going to add a 1/2 teaspoon of our Cajun seasoning to it. I think that'll be plenty. I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of our tomato paste. And we're going to also add a 1/2 cup of, I'm using chicken broth. If you had beef broth, you can use that as well. But being I don't, I'm using chicken broth. And we'll blend this up to get it incorporated very well. And this is totally optional, but I do like the taste of thyme. But you can't put too much, it'll overpower it. So we'll just put me a little pinch of thyme in there as well. I find that thyme goes very good with beef. So like I said, not too much. I even got some left. Just a little bit. And basically we'll just let this cook until the squash is tender, and it'll be done. Just a little simple lunch. Nothing fancy. It's going to taste good though. And I'm going to probably eat this with no rice, just like this, because you got the pumpkin in there. And you don't want to cook them till they fall apart. So they still want to be together. So I think this will make a nice little lunch. At this point we'll go ahead and cover it and just let it simmer on a medium-low heat until the squash is done. Oh, and one more thing. I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of soy sauce. And this is actually made in Louisiana, made by Crystal sauces. Pretty good. That's pretty much it. And I got my fire all the way low. Like I say, we just want it to barely simmer, because the squash should release some moisture, you know, to keep the pot, well, you know, you don't want all the liquid to cook out. And about halfway in, I think the squash is gonna need a little salt. So I'm gonna just maybe 1/4 of a teaspoon and just kind of hit that, you know, with some salt. That way, as it cooks down, it just needed a little bit. That's pretty much it. All right, been having it simmering for about 12 minutes. Get you a little bit of green onion tops. We can kind of finish off with that. These are frozen. I keep in the freezer. And we just kind of mix those in, you know, the last minute or so of cooking. So I'd say probably 13 minutes I cooked them for. You don't want the squash to fall apart. So as you can see, it's still together, but the fork goes in it real easy. Very good. Like I said, just an easy little dish to make with some squash. You could have used zucchini. It really doesn't matter what kind. There you go. Well, of course, we got to get a little taste and see what we got here. A little bit of the ground meat, onion, squash. Let's see what we got. What a delicious way to make squash. Very simple, pretty quick, definitely under 30 minutes. Got just a hint of the thyme in there. Like I said, you could have really left that out, but I like it. It goes really good with pork or ground beef. So yeah, nice little meal. I guess if you wanted to, you could add a little bit more stock. Had your little gravy with some rice, but I plan on eating it just like this. This was 8 ounces of ground beef, ground chuck that I used, that I actually ground myself. Well, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed my video, please subscribe to my channel and hit the like button. Thanks.